Good morning. Yesterday I was on my computer and I was using an app called the Bible Gateway that I've talked about before. And their verse for the day was one verse out of Galatians chapter 5. That one verse stimulated me to go back and read the whole chapter. It's only 26 verses. Paul starts out talking about our freedom in Christ and then our life in the Spirit. And there's a lot there. Matter of fact, I plan to do my next several devotionals out of Galatians chapter 5. So if you want to spend some time reading Galatians 5, or reading the whole book of Galatians, Paul tells us that we are free in Christ. And then he warns us about some things. You know, way back in 1970, many of you weren't alive, but I was starting my senior year in high school in 1970. A group named the Five Man Electric Band, a Canadian group, came out with a song that was called Signs. That song had a very funny beginning, and it was a picture of the times about what was going on, and then it talked about signs. And it started out saying, the sign said, long-haired, freaky people need not apply. So I tucked my hair up under my hat, and I went in to ask them why. They said, you look like a fine, outstanding young man, so I took off my hat and said, imagine that, me working for you. That was a sign of the times. Then the chorus goes, signs, signs, everywhere a sign, blocking out the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the signs? Well, signs have been around all our lives, but it seems like, or seemed back like back then, that signs were coming out telling us more and more what we ought to do and what we ought not to do. You know, we've mentioned this before too, that for a lot of people, religion is just a list of do this, don't do that. But is that freedom? Is that being really free? I found it really interesting. In talking about the Spirit, Paul gave us a list. It's a list of things that he's encouraging us to do. And after telling us that we are free, he gives us this list and encourages us to stay focused on that. And he says that against this list, there are no laws. I want to read to you Galatians chapter 5, beginning in verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things, there is no law. I think that is very important when Paul talks to us about being free and living in the Spirit. Be safe. Stay well out there.